this video, we'll walk you through a two-factor ANOVA using both Excel and SPSS. The two-factor ANOVA, or two-factor ANOVA with replication, is done when you want to study or examine the impact of two or more treatments on your data. So we can do either a complete factorial, or you can just look at individual types. So it's done when you want to examine the impact of two factors or explanatory variables. It's called a factorial design when all possible combinations of the two factors are used. It's a complete factorial experiment. So here we're going to have two factors. I'm using the dataset Printer 9, and this contains information about a company that wants to examine the impact of two treatments on printer sales. The first treatment is one of two prices, either price 1 of 600 or price 2 of 700. That's going to be my factor A. And then advertising type, there's three different advertising types. Type 1 is TV, type 2 is radio, and type 3 is going to be newspaper. So I'm going to say price is factor A, and advertising type is factor B. So to do my complete factorial experiment, I'm going to examine the impact of factor A, the impact of factor B, and then the interaction term between A and B. In other words, the interaction term between the sales price and the advertising methodology used. So I'm going to go into data analysis, and then ANOVA two-factor with replication. My input range here is going to be, I believe I can only highlight my data, but let's see. Rows per sample is 2. There's 2 rows for each price. So I'm going to put a 2 in there. Alpha is 0.05, and I want my output here. Let me click OK. And okay, so I can highlight all of my data. That works well. All right. So the first thing I need to do is examine the interaction effect. I'm going to test 3 hypotheses. Does treatment A, meaning price, matter? Does treatment B, meaning advertising type, matter? And are there any interaction terms? The test of the effects of the treatments are called the main effects, which is what I'm actually interested in. But I need to start by checking the significance of the interaction term first, because the effect of treatment A may depend on treatment B, so the effect of price may depend on advertising, or vice versa. So HO is there are no interaction effects, and HA is there are interaction effects. So when I look here, I have a p-value less than 0.05, so I'm going to reject HO, which means I do in fact find interaction effects here. So I need to recognize that there is an interaction effect which is going to be impacting my results. So that may say, you know what, I should just stop here. I shouldn't really look any further, but I want to be able to go on and see, you know, what are those other impacts. So what I'm going to do now is go over here and look where, look at my data. Does selling price matter? Well, I have my sample, my columns, and my interaction. So my columns are my advertising, and my sample is my price, because there were 2, it asked how many rows per sample. So I see that both of these have p-values less than 0.05. So yes, they both do seem to matter. And then the question is, well, what should the company actually do? Which should it look at? I can look at this information here. Let's see, which price is better. So if you're doing price 1, it looks like advertising 1. I'm sorry, we need to look at averages. If you're doing price 1, it looks like advertising 1 is better. If you're doing price 2, it also looks like advertising 1 is going to be better, but recognize that there is more of an interaction term that's going to be involved there. Now, I can do the same thing in SPSS. Let's bring that up. I have it divided. Now I transformed my data from the way I originally saw it in this matrix into a vertical matrix. So I have treatment 1 is advertising and treatment 2 is price, and then I have my values column in there. I'm going to format it so it understands what to do with my data first. So split file, analyze all cases, do not create groups, just select OK, and tell it, sure, that's fine, that's what I want you to do. This is the output from the previous example that's just coming up there. So let me bring that back up. Now I want to go into Analyze and General Linear Model, Univariate. My value is going to be my dependent, and then my fixed factors are going to be my 2 treatments. I don't need to go into model or change anything this time. Just click OK. And it's going to give me that complete Anova analysis with replication. So I can go in here, treatment 1 times treatment 2 is that interaction effect. And I see again, I reject HO, and HO was there were no interaction effects. So here I'm seeing there are interaction effects. And then again, I'm seeing that both treatments 1 and 2 do have a statistically significant impact, though the impact of treatment 2 is slightly less statistically significant than the impact of treatment 1.